Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Church in Fall River, Mass.
Good morning. May peace be in your hearts. With the energy of freedom and the warmth of love, may you live the fullness of being alive. And in that fullness, find peace. Through justice and understanding, may the world be at peace. And may all of life on earth live together in balance and peace. It's good to be with you all this morning. Visited there a few times. It's lovely to be back. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, which means to me that we are a support community for people on various journeys towards ultimate goals, such as love, or peace, or union. And one of the ways we support each other is by offering each other in the world humane values, such as cooperation. Indeed, life goes better, journeys go better when we cooperate with each other rather than throw obstacles in each other's paths. You can see this theme of cooperation in our history. The earliest Unitarians in Poland founded cities in which they wove the Beatitudes of Jesus into their city charters, hoping that Jesus' cooperative words would make their cities or communities havens of cooperation. And you can see it in our American Universalist history. The early Universalists believed and held that everyone is saved, universal salvation, kind of implying that God was cooperating with people. And cooperation lives on. I can see it in this very community. You seem very cooperative with each other. And in fact, I think Richard told me that the team is on because of cooperation.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's what today's service is about. Cooperation. Cooperation meets our needs. And out of my caring for you, and my desire to support you and reinforce you as you cooperate. I hope that as you cooperate with each other on your journeys, you find love, freedom, and live the full richness of being alive. begin with a hymn that has a sort of cooperative theme to it, cooperative note. It's in number 131, Lord Guide Us. Let's read together the affirmation printed in your order of service. Love is a doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human needs, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. Thank you. And the community will have events, and with events come announcements.
So I want to say thank you so much, Ken, for making the trip down to lead us in worship today. And I think this is your last visit of the program year, but we'll be in touch over the summer to schedule next program year.
Great.
And I would like to let everybody know that Lisa Crook will be with us next week.
May I use the pulpit for this?
Of course.
I wanted everyone to know that beginning November 1st, we're going to be sharing our building with a Jewish congregation. They will be our tenants. This is Temple Bethel up at the top of the hill. They have a huge building that needs a lot of repairs. They can't afford to stay there. They're a small congregation as we are, a somewhat elderly congregation as we are. Their services are Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. So for the most part, we won't even know they're here, I think. But it'll be nice to help another congregation. It'll be nice to have people in the building during the week. That will help us care for our building. And they will contribute to us financially. They'll contribute to us in helping us care for the building too. We think it's a good thing. But I want you to know this now, because over time, you may have concerns or questions. And so, and we want to address them, you know? So we don't want this to be a surprise come November 1st. And everybody knows there's a potluck today, I hope. So there's a free lunch for anyone who wants to, whether you've brought any food or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. My reading has sort of an attitude of cooperating with whatever comes along, called the guest house. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Buddhist tradition has a kind of a lovely meditation that has an attitude of cooperation with it. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. This is challenging when you're considering somebody you have trouble with. Even then, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. And let's sing together. Come unto me, sit in my heart, all the stirrings of compassion, blowing the wind, rise in the sea, moving ahead, giving life the shape of justice. Roots slowly close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Here's a story about cooperation. Once upon a time, King Arthur and his retinue were hunting in a forest. Arthur had bagged a deer, and he was quite proud, until a gamekeeper for a neighbor king appeared and told them they were trespassing on this neighbor's kingdom. Nobody liked this neighbor, particularly his wife. I'll call him King Buster because Buster is what my wife calls me when I've been bad. Arthur and his entourage were brought before King Buster, who said, "King Arthur, you have been caught poaching in my forest, and poaching is a capital offense. Therefore, you must be executed." Arthur's knights begged, "You cannot kill King Arthur, the fairest of kings. He only strayed into your forest by accident. Please spare his life." King Buster responded, "I will spare your life, King Arthur, on one condition. You must answer the question, what do women want? You have 1 year to find the answer. If you fail, the death sentence will be carried out." Arthur and his men were relieved with their reprieve, and yet worried, how could they answer this great mystery? Arthur's knights fanned out through the kingdom, asking sages, priests, monks, and seers, what do women want? Everyone they asked shrugged, "Darn if I know," although their answers were more courtly, like, "Yon truth doth elude me." Months passed, still no answer. Finally, in a dark, forgotten forest, they came to a run-down hovel occupied by an old crone. She was difficult to be near. Ragged clothes, thin, greasy hair, one black tooth, a wart on her nose, and a smell that made the flies buzzing around her die. This crone Griselda said in a croaking voice, "I know what women want." The nobleman said, "Please tell us." Griselda cackled, "I'll tell you and save your king, but in return, I shall have the hand in marriage of the most noble knight of the Round Table, Sir Galahad." They all looked at Galahad as if to ask, "You want to go through with this?" Galahad spoke, "I am loyal to King Arthur and will do anything to save his life. To Griselda, I give you my word of honor. If your answer saves King Arthur, I will consent to have your hand in marriage." Griselda cackled again and said, "I trust you, Sir Galahad, to be good to your word. Therefore, I will answer. What women want is dominion over their lives." The company nodded with the truth of Griselda's answer, except Sir Lancelot, who piped up, "What about men? We need dominion over our lives." Galahad rested a hand on Lancelot's shoulder. "Yes, my friend, we do. But we live in a patriarchy in which women do not often have dominion over their lives. So dominion is more of an issue for them." Lancelot said, "Oh, right." Griselda smirked at him. The courtly estate traveled to King Buster's castle. He asked, "Do you have the answer to what women want?" Arthur replied, "Yes, women want dominion over their lives." Buster raised his eyebrows at the realization of this truth. "Ah, yes. Well, King Arthur, I hereby spare your life. Thank you for this knowledge. I believe it will help my marriage." And just for fun, they had a feast. But what of the nuptials of Griselda and Sir Galahad? This story is not quite ended. So far in the story, there's been some cooperation. King Buster offered a cooperative gesture to King Arthur. Griselda offered the answer. Galahad agreed to marry Griselda. Cooperation can occur with other people, with our bodies, between nations, with nature, with reality, and with the spirit. We cooperate with each other by meeting other people's needs and making it easy for other people to meet our needs. I think those are our two jobs in relationships. Meet other people's needs, make it easy for them to meet our needs. And that's happening, it's going pretty well. And cooperation with each other meets our needs for dominion over our lives, survival, and three key relationship needs: to matter, to be accepted, and for friendly contact. Basically for love and support. And when our needs are met, we're happy. When we meet other people's needs, it's meaningful. Through much of human history, though, wars, slavery, and colonization diminished cooperation and crushed people's needs. Fortunately, through history, humanity gained prosperity through trade, which requires cooperation, resulting in fewer wars. Concern for others ended legal slavery. Colonies have freed themselves. Peace and freedom allow for cooperation and result in needs met. Nevertheless, sometimes countries and individuals still dismiss cooperation. For instance, a friend walking her tiny dogs one day passed a house next door where an aggressive dog tore through the screen door to lunge at her leashed pipsqueaks. Its owner grabbed the dog but barked at my friend. "You should take responsibility for your dogs." My friend was flabbergasted. What? Walking in a public space, tiny dogs on leashes, and I'm being attacked. We have his choices: attack, withdraw, or cooperate. With an attack like this, counterattack seems natural, like bark back at him. Withdrawal also seems natural. Steer away from this guy. Cooperation considers what people need. The man might need acceptance. He fears the opposite of acceptance, a scolding, and offers a preemptive scold to put my friend on the defensive and prevent the likely attack. My friend needs acceptance, to be accepted walking her dogs. To meet their needs, a cooperative offer could sound like, how can we share this neighborhood in a way that works for us and our dogs? To the owner of the furious dog, negotiating for mutual needs might make no sense because he may have grown up without someone meeting his needs and learned that seeking to meet his needs only brings disappointment. So no asking for needs to be met. Someone else with needs implies it is possible in relationships for needs to be met. If the man is convinced such hope is foolish, he dismisses another person's needs so as to maintain a need-free and disappointment-free existence. I'm still drawn to show uncooperative people the benefits of cooperation. I would still decline, though, with coercion. Someone's successful coercion might meet their pressured demand of the moment, but not their needs to matter, for acceptance, and for friendly contact. And being coerced does not meet my need for dominion over my life. So I'll hold fast for cooperation. In a second relationship, when we cooperate with our bodies, our needs for health and longevity are more likely met. Cooperation means, of course, giving our bodies the sleep, nutrition, and movement they need, and avoiding toxins. When nations cooperate with each other, that meets our needs for peace and prosperity. Trade, interdependence, and a web of treaties, laws, and norms have supported this cooperation in our recent history. When we cooperate with nature, nature meets our needs for fresh air, clean water, food, moderate weather, and a predictable climate. When instead of cooperating, people dominate and exploit nature, these needs go away. We cooperate with nature by recognizing we humans are part of nature and by protecting its healthy balance. Unfortunately, people have long separated ourselves from and dominated nature. Ralph Waldo Emerson, an early valuer of nature, noted, "The history of humanity is a series of conspiracies to win from nature some advantage without paying for it." In his time, Emerson was a rare voice in support of cooperating with nature. Now, there are millions of us who want to cooperate with nature and make it easier for nature to meet our needs for air, water, food, and a moderate climate. When we cooperate with reality, that meets our need to solve problems. Solving a problem begins with an accurate naming of the problem based on reality. With an accurate understanding of the problem, the solutions we imagine will more likely work. Some people seem to refuse to cooperate with reality and seem to wish for a return to a time when what passed for truth consisted of superstition, dogma, and the pronouncements of religious and political authorities. These authorities ask, who are you going to believe, me or your own eyes? Fortunately, during the 1800s, humanity developed science, the process of verifying facts. Science helps humanity see reality accurately, setting up effective problem solving. Reality also includes our inner life and our emotions. Unhappy emotions like sadness, fear, anger, confusion, shame signal a need to be met. If I'm sad, maybe I need a cooperative, comforting hug. Aware of my need, aware of my emotion, then my need, I can ask to have it met. I'm sad, I need a supportive conversation and a hug. All this cooperating depends on unity, which is where the Spirit enters. The Spirit unites us. When united, what happens to other people affects me. So cooperating to meet their needs and support their happiness makes me happy because I'm connected to them. I'm united with my physical body, so of course cooperating with it makes sense. Humanity is united across borders. In nature, spiritual experience lifts the veil and shows me my unity with the natural world. Indeed, every time I breathe, I am connected with nature as nature supports my need for oxygen. And the Spirit supports accepting what is, meaning cooperating with reality. I can cooperate with the Spirit by leaning into its support. To lean in, people practice meditation, prayer, devotional reading, acts of service. They go to church, sing in choirs, walk in woods, gaze at stars, take pilgrimages, fast, dance, form human relationships, all to open the soul and welcome the Spirit. Indeed, right now, as you're seated, you can imagine not only the chair, but the Spirit holding you and supporting you. Your breath takes in spiritual support. Aware of this support, you make it easier for the Spirit to meet your need for spiritual support. That's cooperating with the Spirit. When we cooperate with the Spirit, that meets our need to be at one. And the rest of the cooperating follows, our needs further met. I don't think cooperation meets our needs is a wild new idea. You can probably think of many stories of cooperation and needs met. One story, a scuba diver and shark researcher, Christina Zanato, comments, "I love my sharks. She appreciates their beauty and their contribution to healthy oceans." She continues, "I started seeing them coming in with fish hooks in their mouths. The hook removal started like anything you would start when you love someone. I just wanted to make their lives a little better to relieve their pain." One shark with whom she was familiar approached Christina with a hook well inside its mouth. She recounts, "I decided to stick my hand in and I pulled the hook out. The shark swam away, but as soon as she came back, she allowed me to pet her. From then on, this shark would show up on her dives, nudging her for a back scratch." After removing hooks from familiar sharks, other sharks showed up with hooks. The diver believes they communicate, like there's a shark message board. If you have a nasty fish hook, see Christina at Squid Reef, and they come. In my experience, my wife Jean and I adopted our daughter May from China. At 2 years old, May was wrenched into new surroundings, language, food, people, smells. My wife and I sought to respect May in her transition and through her childhood. Before she could speak English, May signaled a need by raising her index finger. It often meant, "I've had enough." Soon after adopting May, we took her to meet one of Jean's sisters. The visit was going fine, but after half an hour, May signaled with her index finger, "That's enough. I gotta go." As we began bundling things up, her sister objected. "She's just 2 years old. You can make her stay longer." Jean replied with, "I'd like to stay longer, but May is ready to go, and so we will respect her wish." And we left. This and other cooperations with May have resulted in a young adult who trusts us and confides in us. Jean and I are just as imperfect as other parents and have differed with May about cell phone use and bedtimes, but have sought to find solutions that generally meet each other's needs. Indeed, families guided by cooperative negotiation for everyone's needs are happy. Speaking of happiness, the wedding of Griselda and Sir Galahad drew nigh. King Arthur thanked Galahad for his sacrifice and commissioned a new suit of armor for him, as if to protect him from his future wife. The courtiers looked with pity at Galahad as they passed him in the halls. The peasants enjoyed their unpleasant lot compared to Galahad's. The pigs enjoyed their mud even more than usual. On the wedding day, Griselda looked just as repellent, but Galahad gamely stood for the ceremony in his finest cloak. The priest asked, "Do you, Griselda, choose to have this man, Sir Galahad, in marriage?" "I do." "Do you, Sir Galahad, choose to have this woman, Griselda, in marriage?" "I do." A sigh rippled through the congregation. At the reception, his fellow knights, knowing his future, encouraged Galahad to drink. "Another flagon of ale for Sir Galahad." He mostly declined, respecting the gravity of the occasion. As the reception wound down, Griselda retired to the bedroom. Soon Galahad too climbed the stairs to the bridal chamber. The company watched him as they might view an innocent prisoner shuffling off to his execution. But there he found a lovely woman, long hair, a warm smile, dressed in a silk robe that seemed to glow with its own light. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am the woman you married," she answered. "Because you were noble, true to your word, and respectful of me, I will show you this aspect of myself and be beautiful, either during the night in our private chambers or in the day with your friends in the public." Galahad paused, he nodded, and said, "Please choose which you prefer." Griselda smiled. "Ah, you have given me dominion over my life. In return, I will be beautiful both at night with you and during the day with our community." And so Galahad cooperated with Griselda. Her need for dominion over her life was met, leaving her living in beauty. Christina cooperated with the sharks, and they seemed grateful and continued supporting the balance of life in the oceans. Jean and I cooperated with our daughter, now a beautiful young woman who cooperates with us. As fables end, hands clasped, their needs met, they lived happily ever after. Well, one of the ways we cooperate each other as a community is by sharing our financial support for it. We'll take the offering. I think Don turns off the mic, the camera, and we'll have some music. This is a time in our service where we may share a joy or a concern, something we may celebrate together, or something for which you would like the healing energy of our shared meditation.
So, 2 weeks ago, I lost my sister-in-law. So that means I lost both my sister and her wife in less than 4 months. And it's a huge loss. It's just hard to grasp that they're both gone. And of course, Gail's death is not the emotional hit that my own sister's death was, but it's all part of the same thing. So I'm kind of going through it again for my sister. And so I looked at my cat the other day. I said, "Ollie, don't leave me." I'm all squishy inside about this, so I'm looking at all of you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm putting you all on notice. Don't leave me. I need you all.
Try our best.
We need you too.
Well, you just reminded me of my own cooperating dog story, because we have neighbors who are right behind us, and the dog who starts barking, gets let out and barks incessantly from about 5:30. And so people just moved in, the dogs were horrible, whatever, so I decided to write a note, and I wrote, we would love having the neighbors, your dog is adorable, do you think if you could wait till, 7, I think he said 7:30, to let him out to bark. They apologized, they said, oh, we're so sorry, thank you for letting us know, we'll do better. And ever since the dog, they let out at 6:30, same time, and barks incessantly, there's never any change. And that was a few years ago, and now they have another dog.
Well, you're a long clock.
We've had a couple of minutes. They are good stuff. Last week, obviously, there was a heat problem. Richard called while Nancy and I were headed down here, so we came down. Turned out that there was an valve inadvertently closed, so that was easy to fix. But after that, Steve Camara became the tour guide extraordinaire and took us on a kind of a magical mystery tour around his beloved Fall River, including the progressive Italian club, where I got the most amazing drink. It combined a Bloody Mary and a trip to a Chinese restaurant all in one drink. Things stuck in this drink. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. And you can't go anywhere in Fall River with Steve without people waving and talking. Oh,
He is a senior.
yes, and,
Well, if I cry, I hope that you'll be there, because I'm full of joy. And I have to say, my joy is seeing all of you again, because I miss you one another. I need you. Our community needs this community. I'm so excited about its growth in November, Jewish community. I know our welcoming congregation. We put out another request at the South Coast LGBTQ network. You give them a suitable home in Fall River. They have one in New Bedford. They have one in Taunton. They're on the second floor, inaccessible space, thank God. In a wonderful building on the corner of Bedford and Purchase Street, which you must go to. And there's a young man, 22 years old, or so, who's Johnson and Wales trained, who makes the best dogs. And he and his partner of life, since they're kids, are running this place called Bud Buns. Bud Buns? Yeah, Bud Buns, I believe it's them. So go to 10 Purchase Street, that's where it's at. And hang out in this neighborhood, fill this neighborhood up like it's new. I think there's a spring offensive. I'm thinking that that's what's happening. And it's happening to us. We're not making it happen, it's just saying, here it is. So we're going to have some celebration today, I hope. I want everyone to come and eat, because there's so much food always, and if you didn't bring anything, we need to have more conversation, more cooperation, more generation of hope and beauty, and I'm most concerned that our social security officers in our neighborhood serve the most vulnerable of us. And the elders of Fall River, children, disabled, would be terribly inconvenienced if they can't go to a building on Main Street. They'd rather have to do it online or go to God knows where. So the Fall River office is scheduled as part of this Doge experience. And the New Bedford office is scheduled to close. I think we're going to pour ourselves out in hundreds, maybe thousands, to generate that the social security office is more than a building. It's a place for the community to survive and flourish as the most elegant community probably in Massachusetts. Not to mention lowest income and disabilities, so we have a responsibility, I think, and I have so much more on my mind, but most of all, I say, let's make it happen. If you want to show up, I'm happy to give more talks. Jim and Nancy are so inspiring to me, and Reverend Reeves, you take me away when you speak to us. I'm so appreciative of the time that you have come to our community. I wish you move on down. We'll do whatever we need to do, but you are such a wonderful source of cooperation and strength for us. So thank you. And thank all of you. God bless you. If there is, there's a plan. One more thing. I think our earth needs to come out of the corner. Yeah, I need some art. We need to pursue that. Last time, I went to see a Vandal immersion experience in Worcester at the Mercantile Center. And if you Google it, it's still at the Mercantile Center in Worcester. It's the most breathtaking display of art that I've ever seen. And Van Gogh is now another inspiration for change. Because his life was about change. So anyway, again, that's a commercial announcement that if you get a chance, go to, let's see if Van Gogh. It comes around, I think, again, if you ever get to see it, it'll be treated to a wonderful experience. Started with my friend, and we have quite a life together now.
I have a big joy. This is crazy. My life has changed dramatically ever since I came to the Unitarian Church. And Steve has been there beside me, gave me a place to live. I was homeless. I have been happy for the last few years, knowing I got a friend. And the funniest thing is, he's totally opposite of me. He doesn't like sports. But you know what the funniest thing was? I'm laying right there in my room and I hear, 3! He's watching the Celtics. And I do it all the time. Whenever they hit a 3-pointer, I'm yelling, 3! But I didn't do it, but I heard him in the background, sitting in his chair going, 3! I came out to enjoy it. I sat down beside him and we were watching the game together, and he's sitting there going, 3! And that made me happy, made me have joy to see somebody go, forget the world around. He was enjoying himself or something he probably never did before. Watching the Celtics game and yelling, 3! Right, Steve? And it's made me happy all these 3 years now that I come to this church. It's been a family thing, and I love everyone here. Thank you all for the support, especially from Steve.
I was shouting 3 last night too.
That's contagious.
For anyone who doesn't understand 3, give me a lesson on that.
So,
Or have something to do with charity.
Okay, thank you. So,
I can't hear you, David.
yes, we
oh,
have.
okay, let me stand up here. The quotation from Louis this morning reminded me of Dr. David Renke, who always sat right there. And he and I shared this admiration to Louis and brought him into my presence. So that's one of those ways that too. I'm very pleased to share this church with the Jewish folks. I think we can learn a lot attending some of their services and so forth. So the other thing that is really most important is that from what we can count, some 80,000 jobs have been eliminated in Veterans Administration. And this coming Friday, the 14th, there's going to be meetings in every single capital in the U.S., including the border repeal with Guam. And they're going, and at the Capitol in Washington. And I would like to ask you if you have relatives or friends or yourself concerned, to join us at whichever capital is easiest for you. And looking forward to thousands and thousands of veterans showing up to help us. That's cooperation right there.
Well, thank you. We are a community that is mysteriously connected to one another. I hope that you draw strength and support from these connections, as you indeed sound like you do. Well, I'd like to conclude with a hymn that has another note of cooperation in it. This is my song, number 159 in your hymnals. This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and wide. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shore. Other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. My country skies are over than the ocean, and sunlight beams on clover leaf and vine. I want to thank Nancy and Richard and Donald and all of you for making this a wonderful morning for us all, cooperating with us. When my needs are met, I'm happy. When your needs are met, that is meaningful to me. I want that for you. May we go in peace. Amen.
Now, for something completely different. Our poster is going to be provided by Steve Stradley. You can do a little introduction.
Yes, well, I think this is again revitalization and beauty. I come to the conclusion that only art and music and love will solve our issues and problems in our lives. So I've embraced my musician friends, Judy Conrad, who's our community concert pianist and organizer of all things classical, popsicles and clappers, all such things. And Harold comes from music. Come to the northern part of our commercial district, and we've become allies and friends, and we cooperated in life, and he and his children wrote my most wonderful political jingle, which I won't subject you to, but Harold and his children, one of whom now is at Harvard, and the other child is in high school, So I welcome him to our community, and he happened to be hired by the First Baptist Church to be the fill-in summer musical director, I believe.
Well, I just did a few Sundays and then had to leave for a few weeks.
Yeah, so 3 Sundays, so we're drawing to the southern end, he's also talking into an electric car, which I have to talk to you about. Electric cars are not all they should be. So welcome, Harold, Harold, give a more exclusive understanding of who you are and where you come from.
Well, thanks, I didn't know I would play. Sort of featured role here.
It's a little music to our branch.
I can certainly play you some different pieces of classic literature, or like I can do some on-the-spot things that would be more matter of cooperation. Sometimes it's fun to take a familiar song and change its key or change its time signature or piece of the song or three those kind of things. So, you have some fun with me that to start with.
Yes.
If you talk about that one, I could just say, well, happy birthday, or whatever, at 5 beats.
Well, that's Tim that we did with, that music of Jan Sibelius was just so good. Is there something you could do with Jan Sibelius?
I suppose civilians. Maybe it could be a possibility of that.
Maybe something Irish for St. Patrick's Day. Did you know the date?
Excuse me, I was told I should shut my glunkies off. We're getting glunkies tonight. So I'm gonna shut the oven off.
I guess, let's see, there's Danny Boy, I guess that's highly
Written by an Englishman.
Oh, wow.
But it's still, it's okay.
I just somehow need that aspect being permitted to. When the states are marching in, is that possible?
Oh, okay. All right.